Hey guys, this is Non-Lammers of Invoked 101, and today I'm doing my Orcust Invoked deck profile. This is a deck that I've been working on a little bit. Basically, this is version 3 out of and that basically just means I edited it just a little bit. It's not too different from the version 1, but it is different enough that I felt the need to talk about it. So, there was no side deck for this deck. I played it at my comp night locals, didn't do too well, and currently I'm actually working on revising this version. And that's the main reason I'm uploading this, is because I'm working on a deck to take to YCS Fort Worth in October, and that's and I want to play an Invoked deck there. So, but with that out of the way, real quick before we get into deck profile, if you want to back the channel in any way, there is a link to our Patreon down in the description below. That would mean a lot to us. There's also a link to our Instagram if you feel like checking that out. And there's also a link to our Discord if you feel like chatting with us in there. So, with that out of the way, triple Alistair the Invoker is our first monster and our main normal summon. Now, we can normal summon other stuff, but this is mainly the guy we want to normal summon. Searches Invocation, isn't honest for fusion monsters, and all around is just a great card. So I'm starting with like the various different engines in the deck, and so for the Invoked one, we got triple Alistair, triple Invocation, because it's like a graveyard super poly. Speaking of Super Poly, I'm including this with the Invoked engine aspect because it really is an Invoked card. 2 Super Poly to out the stuff. All our monsters with Alistair are Super Poly targets. So, like, all monsters are Super Poly targets when you play Alistair. So, very good card. Nice buff to the deck. Triple Magical Meltdown. I bumped the camera because there's this, like, stick in my way. Hang on. Let's see if I can fix that. Okay, slight adjustment to the camera so that way I don't bump it as much. Alright, so 3 Magical Meltdown to get us to our Alistair, and then right after that, double Terraforming to get our Magical Meltdowns. So yeah, that's the Invoke stuff for the deck. Very, just meant to get you to Alistair, really, and Fusion Summon. Alright, after that we have our Orcust stuff, which includes 1 Orcust Nightmare, 1 Symbol Skeleton, and 1 Harpour. So if you don't know what these do, this one sends in a Dark Machine from deck to grave, this one summons an Orcust from the deck, and this one summons an Orcust from graveyard. So basically what you do is you summon this off Mermaid, you send this off of Nightmare, and then you activate this to send this to grave, and then use this you use this effect to special summon this from the deck. You link this with Galti, and then you revive Galti with this. So there you go. As far as other for more Orca stuff, we have 2 of the different Phantom Knights. We have Ancient Cloak, so what you do is you send Ancient Cloak off of Bardich, ban it, and set the Fogblade. You banish Ancient Cloak to get the Silent Boots. Silent Boots you link away with something to, and then you banish him to get another copy of Fogblade. Or you could just straight send Silent Boots and get 2 Fogblades that way. That's what I used to do until I added this guy because I kept drawing this. Alright, and then we have Orcust Babble, Orcust Crescendo, which is the counter trap. It negates spell trap, and monster effects. This just turns all the Orcust to quick effects. Honestly, you could cut this from what I've played. And 2 copies of Fogblade, because you're only ever getting 2. So yeah, that's it for the Orcust section. So now it's like, what else do you fill your deck with? Well, I have a bunch of auxiliary monsters that summon themselves, such as Gigabyte. So the next few guys just summon themselves if you control a spellcaster, which includes Gigabyte, Inari Fire, and Eater, Nefarious Archfiend, Eater of Nefariousness. All three of these guys summon themselves if you control spellcaster monsters, so that Alistair fulfills that requirement, and that's why we're playing them. As well as that, we also play 2 Kaje de Kaje. This guy summons himself when you normal summon a level 4. And then we have a Catchy Eve level 2, who reduces a monster on the field's level by 2, and then special summons herself. And she's light. So we have water, fire, earth, dark, and light. The only one we're missing is wind, but we're getting the wind one soon. But it's okay, because I'm probably cutting most of these guys. But yeah, so that's the auxiliary monsters. As well as that, we also play triple Ash Blossom for the negates. Now it's like, isn't this supposed to be a combo deck? Yeah, but we play the Ash, and we also play Called by the Grave, just to get through. So I have no regrets playing the Ashes and the Called by the Graves. I liked playing them, but definitely think I could have played something else. So, and then the last 4 cards in the deck are triple Allure of Darkness, just for consistency reasons, and 1 World Legacy Succession. I felt that this was better than Monster Reborn in this deck just because you're constantly link summoning, so I went with that one. And that's it for the main deck. That's all the main deck has for it. No Twin Twisters, no side deck either, so which was a bad choice on my part not to include a side deck. Anyways, as for the extra deck, we are playing 2 Mecha Buff for the negate. This guy is like one of the best invoked fusions, but we don't always summon it, and it's also not the main goal of this deck. We also play 1 Magilancia, which honestly I could have cut. We also play 2 Purgatrio. Like, my extra deck is not optimal. Like, it's really not. 2 Purgatrio, 1 Cockgeous, 1 Kaliga, who I really should be playing a second one because, like, he's the most important one in this build, and 1 Elysium. So before I go, oh, and also 1 Mud Dragon of the Swamp as another super poly target. This should be a Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. I'm just a moron. But, okay, so I said Kaliga is the most important in this deck, and a lot of people don't play Kaliga anymore. The reason Kaliga is so important in this deck is because his effect is a continuous effect that says your opponent only gets 1 monster effect and 1 attack. So what you can do is if you get him out along with the double Fog Blade, which this deck can do pretty consistently, like it's not too hard to get Kaliga, Kaliga out along with the normal Orcust board, what he does is that it basically just your opponent's like, okay, my 1 monster effect, and you flip over Fog Blade, negate it, and it's like my 1 attack, you flip over the other Fog Blade and stop the attack, and it protects Kaliga. So there we go. So along with that, you also have a negate with the Orcust Crescendo. So it's just a very good, like it's very strong in short. As for the links, we play 1 Alice the Invoker of Madness. This guy is super easy to summon, and also like a really good fallback plan in case you can't do the Orcust stuff and you get stopped. 1 Nightmare Phoenix for the Nightmare monster to summon Mermaid with. 1 Mermaid because Mermaid's like the starter card. 1 Galty, which I really should be playing another of. 1 Rusty, and 1 Longirsu, who should really be a ding, not a long, although I could probably play both. I don't own a ding, so there's no ding in the deck, which is fine. But yeah, that's the deck. If you don't know what Galty does, she sets Orcust stuff by shuffling it back. This guy sets Fog Blade by dumping a Phantom Knight, and this guy removes linked monsters from the board. Very, very cool. But yeah, that's my my Orcust Invoked deck. There is no side deck. I actually did end up like using triple Twin Twisters in my side, but that was like legit the only side card I had. I am working on a much better version of this, and it's probably going to be a little bit before I do an updated version of Orcust Invoked, but I do really want to get this deck working and functioning, and I think I know how to do it. I'm working with Gara of Minton 10 on this, so hopefully I can get this deck done and ready and going by the time that happens. But yeah, so far, like in testing, this deck works really well, and I'm sure that it's fine casually, but I mean casually, if you're playing this, that's kind of rude because it sets up the Orcust board super easy. But yeah, anyways, like I said earlier, there is a link in our description to our Patreon. Anything you guys donate to us through there helps a lot. There's also a link to our Discord if you guys feel like talking to us through there, and there's also a link to our Instagram where we post updates on different things. So if you want to check any of that out, all that is down in the description. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.